Welcome back to the catch up here on Cris Cyborg's YouTube channel. I am James Lynch. She is Cris Cyborg. Cris, how are you today?
I'm great, James. Thank you for having me here. Thank everyone, following up here with us.
Yes, it's always good to do the catch up every week. Before we get into today's topics, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. That way you won't miss notifications on this channel. Cris, you do amazing work in the cage, but you also do some amazing work in the community. I saw you bought everyone lunch recently. What was that all about?
I went after my fight. I always like to do something cool, for the community, and it was so nice. We did it on the street. Have one car que sell pastel. Pastel in America, I think, look like a hot pocket, and then so I talked to the guy. He didn't know. It's all surprise. I told him, okay, the next 1 hour, everyone show up here is gonna be free for that. So, and then I make sign with my team, I say free pastel for everyone. So it was really nice. A lot of people show up, getting together. And after one hour, it was 93 pastels. And then I pay him I pay the price of the pastels and then give him tip double. So he's really happy. He's worked really hard. And the nice thing, we get the people together. So talk, take picture, talk about my fight. It was very cool. And yeah, you guys gonna know more. We did some OnlyFans video and prepare for you guys can watch it, in the next video.
So last week we had a ton of stuff to talk about your boxing fight. We also talked a bit about Bellator Long Beach. There's a couple things we missed, so we wanted to cover those. But AJ Mckee fighting at 155 against Spike Carlyle, moving up a weight class. What did you think of his performance? Because I thought he looked great up in lightweight.
It's a wild fight, and then not a lot of people know, but when he fought inside the cage that night, he's 180.
Yeah.
The guy was big 155. So AJ did a great. It was amazing, exciting fight. And, this is just giving more experience for him. I'm not sure if we're going to try to do the tournament 155, but I believe he can do great, can get the 1 million, this tournament. But, I wish the best for him. I think it was a great fight. And yes, a nice California commission too. Everyone on top for see how much they weight all the fighters after the day the fight. It was really cool.
Yeah, it is really interesting when you see the weights in the night of the fight. Carlyle 180. That's pretty unheard of for a lightweight. So I don't know how he made the weight limit. The other big thing from that card we missed last week was Aaron Pico obviously having the shoulder injury, and his coach Brandon Gibson trying to push his shoulder back in. What did you make of that? That's pretty unique.
It's really crazy. Pico is a really strong and amazing fighter. Real fighter. And I don't know, it was right to do this. It's a little bit danger. Especially because you don't know if you're doing the right thing or not. You don't know what's going on. This is happening for me. My first fight, I dislocated my elbow. But I went to the doctor. The doctor see and put together. I think it's. But I hope Eric Pico getting better soon. And back to fight. I think he can be champion Monday. He's a very young fighter, but it was a crazy moment to watch that thing. You want to close your eyes when you watch.
Yes, and moving back over to the UFC, we had obviously Julianna Pena come out recently saying she wants the trilogy fight with Amanda Nunes. Pena winning the first fight, finishing Amanda Nunes. Nunes in the second fight, obviously dominating Pena and winning a decision. Do you think the fight will happen? And two, who would you favor in that trilogy if it was to happen?
No, I believe it's not going to happen the third fight. I know Julianna Pena do like, but I think the second rematch, UFC really rush for start the back because they will invest saying Amanda Nunes is a GOAT. So they need it back to this again, and then because it's the rush back to have the rematch. But now for the third fight, I believe, UFC was going to put her, Julianna Pena fight another contenders girls, and I think they wish maybe she don't lose for not have the third fight. I think have a lot of things behind Amanda. I think they want to continue this be the GOAT, and let's see. I wish the best. Yeah, I think she's a great fighter and a real fighter.
Now, Cris, you're not the only fighter who's moved over from MMA to boxing. We saw recently Uriah Hall is actually going to be competing in a boxing match against former NFL running back Levon Bell on the undercard of that Jake Paul and Anderson Silva mega fight. What do you think of that? Hall recently, leaving the UFC, retiring from MMA, now going over to boxing.
No, I didn't know too much about the NFL players, but I know the NFL, this guy going to fight another football player, and he won by it's violent by a KO. So I believe Ariel is gonna be. See, if he's been training no box, I'm not sure how he's been doing the camp. I know he's coming from the kickbox, and I know he's like to kick. But if he's been trained, I think it's gonna be do well. But I feel this is my last fight, my first boxing fight. It's very hard when you cannot kick. What's the distance you're gonna have? So I hope it's been training and be good. But it's gonna be a crazy fight.
Some other news that I think has not been widely reported as much as I think it should. Conor McGregor has not been tested by USADA. We know that he's injured right now, but there's other injured fighters that have also been tested by USADA, including Chris Weidman. McGregor's still in the rankings. What do you make of that? It's a little bit interesting.
I believe he's out the ranking, out the test, USADA test, because he's injured, But I'm not saying like I'm wrong, right? Because have some fighters still have the same situation, still doing the testing USADA. But I believe they still in rankings. I think the UFC should put he's not being tested by USADA. But okay, he's still in the ranking. But I believe the fans would like to know, and the fighters too. They see if you have an injury and you're not gonna be tested for USADA, you can gonna still be in the ranking. They have to know it's the situation they can have.
Yeah, so we'll see how that sort of unfolds there. Bit of something that sort of flew under the radar a little bit. Yeah. Okay, we got to address this, Cris, because I've seen it all on social media. Josh Thomson, who is a coworker of yours, he obviously does the show with Big John McCarthy weighing in. There's a bit of back and forth between the two of you. Do you want to just sort of tell from your side what's going on with you and Josh Thomson?
No, the reality, I really don't watch the podcast. But, John McCarthy I really respect him, one of my fans of him. And he did one video, one audio, for my OnlyFans videos. And they talk about before my next fight for the boxing fight. So, and then I hear he's going to have a little bit about my boxing there. So I start to watch. And then, I see. And I really don't know why they put the fight there and talk about the fight. Because John McCarthy say, I don't have the opportunity to watch the fight. And Josh say, I don't have desire to watch the fight. So I said, no, I don't know what's the reason, but I really don't see why he's did that comment. We working together. We are co-worker, like you said. We work in Bellator, Showtime together. He's supposed to, talk the fight, what's happened in the fight, but no talk about what he did,
Yeah, and the other interesting comment he made was that they should, there's no need for your division in Bellator, but and then John McCarthy proceeds to say, oh, well, there's a Katzengano fight. So I thought that was a little interesting. Josh basically saying that they shouldn't continue the featherweight division, your weight class in Bellator. They should focus more on strawweight and all these other things. Were you surprised to hear that? Because again, you created this division and you're, one of the biggest stars in women's MMA, and that attracts sponsors to Bellator, right? Like it's one of those things that's a win-win for everyone.
The one thing I hear they say about to be promoter. If I was promoter, thank you God it's not the promoter. Because I have one event here. My brothers and promoters. It is very important you have a big name in their event. Big name help you get sponsored. Big name you getting paid for you go another location. Big name you can put the big name and then you can have young fighters together because you're gonna build the fighter together. The big name. So example, if you're gonna here in Brazil, you watch the Bellator in the ESPN. It's a big channel sport here. So Brazil wants to have the Bellator here because we have Brazilian stars in the event. If you don't have Brazilians, they're gonna want. Then another thing, if you guys watch Bellator when I have the main event, so have the preliminaries in YouTube, you see have more views when I fight the main event when the other fights. So when you have a big name, you help the young fighter, help the promoter. People can watch. I'm a fan Cyborg, but come one girl before me, they're gonna watch her. It is gonna introduce the new young fighters for the fans. So I think he's really he's not happy what he says. Like he's not. I believe he's I think if the podcast work, you have to do your job. You have to search about have girls. We just saw PFL sign Aspen Ladd.
Aspen Ladd, that's right.
He's 145 pounds, and they just announced not gonna have any more than 55. We're gonna build 145. So we just saw another girl in the UFC too. She's 145 pounds. She's the first fight in UFC last week. won by KO. So the UFC didn't build the division yet because they don't find anybody to make the money. Like Amanda Nunes, okay, she didn't say it's the GOAT, but she's no sell pay-per-view like when I did there. So, but if they see one girl interesting, do great fights, they're gonna build the division. So, and I believe, in Bellator we have it. We have the best fighters, number one featherweight. So, and I believe Scott Coker is going to continue, invest in our division, our division over there. So we have a lot of girls, and they say about rematch. I don't want to see the rematch. So I prove when I fight Arlene Blanco, our rematch was the best fight they won the first time.
Yeah.
No, have a go. Okay, and you can see the Shanae fight. Maybe it can be the next fight. They're gonna be great, like we did Arlene Blanco the rematch. And I have Leah too, Leah for Ireland. We can make this fight great too. I believe the Irish, all of them want to watch. And Cat Zingano. Well, Cat Zingano, she's a big name. Everybody know her. So Cat Zingano, it can be one fight, can be in CBS. And you can put young girls fight the same card. And they will start building up there. So I believe I believe Scott Coker going to continue investing in the division. Me and my team doing the best for build my brand. So we're doing 6 years and doing my blog. I'm doing every week my podcast with you. Every Bellator event, I put in all my social media. I talk to people watch. So I will work together. So I really respect Scott, respect Showtime. I think at the moment Josh say, we are, put too much money on her. We're working together. So I hope he's thinking about what he did. There's nothing against him, but I think he's have to look more, study more for his being talk. So if you're watching my fights, I have over 1 million people watching my fights, and I've been doing this, but of course it's gonna be for the young girls. I just don't think it's just about me. I think about the brand, work and help the brand work, go together with the event.
Yes, very well said. And one other thing I'll just add, I mean, we've had other fighters on this show when you've been away doing training camp, and some of them have been on your undercard, Rafion Stotts, Emmanuel Sanchez, and they just talk about how much of a privilege it was to compete on a card that you're headlining. So it's another thing. It's not just the fans, it's also the fighters that really look forward to being on a card with you because they know there's that mainstream appeal that you have both in MMA and in boxing as well. So that's another thing I wanted to add in there. And I'm sure you hear that from fighters too.
Yes. All the time I see people, Cris, the owner, fight the same card as you. So all the time I hear this. I don't know if it's Josh is mad because, I came from Brazil. It's very difficult to move to America. I moved to America. We do the same job, but we don't get paid the same way. I get paid more. I don't know if he's mad about this, but, I think I really don't understand what his point, really.
Yeah, no, I get it. Okay, last thing on this, then we'll move on. What was the private message that you sent to Josh for people who might be wondering?
I just told him, if you want to talk about my pay, my business, take it off my name off your mouth. He don't need to talk about this. He's not getting paid for this. So he's getting paid about the fights. And we same team. He getting paid with Bellator, me too. So, and I really been investing in my brand, doing everything. If you put all my media together, I have more 4 million people, my fans with me, because I'm building up. I still work. He's a fighter too. He's have his career. He's have 100,000 followers and everything. So I think you just have to build it together. Build up with the people. I'm not put the young fighters down. I put them up. Because the one thing they look to me like I'm the idol. They look at me. I want to be like Cyborg. Why I'm gonna put them down? I know Josh when he's fight Strikeforce. I saw him. So we don't need to put people down. And I think you're just gonna put people up and getting better every time.
Yeah, very well said. Okay, we wouldn't end this show without doing our Portuguese saying of the week. I think it's officially fall here in Vancouver because I'm wearing a sweater now. It was cold out this morning when I took my kid to school. How do I say, where is my jacket? Because I need to wear a jacket, otherwise I'm going to be cold.
Aonde
está
minha jaqueta?
Chaqueta. Okay, aonde minha
Aonde
está
está minha jaqueta?
Minha jaqueta. Jaqueta. Yes, there we go. Okay, good. I'm just glad I'm not going to go cold, Cris. So I really appreciate that. I don't, you don't want to get sick this time of year. So there we go. Always, before we end the show, make sure you check out the premium service, CrisCyborg.com. You can pay with Bitcoin. They do the instructional videos. They do the Q&As every month. You're on OnlyFans as well. Check that out. And also, the social media as well. Cris, I'll give you the last word here. Let people know what they can look forward to on your other accounts.
Okay, guys, if you want to know a little bit more, you go to the premium. Premium do a live with you every week. You have a training we send to you every Thursday, and you have some fights from my event too. We send some Saturday, and you can follow up. Knows everything about happening in the MMA world. You can see everything you can see on my blog and my website, and you have the OnlyFans videos. I'm saying, it's there. You're not gonna find anywhere. My videos I put on YouTube is gonna be different than put on OnlyFans. So if you want to know a little bit more, so subscribe. It's gonna be free. I'm not charging anything. You're gonna be welcome. You're gonna love. Be with us. You're gonna be a lot of travel about the backstage for my fight. So it's gonna be great. So sign up there. And thank you guys. Thank you for everything, for all the support.